Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back here with Intellitronix. I got a guy here named Matt. He's going to show us the G-Body gauge packs that everyone's been asking about. So he's here in a little detail, explain what's going on, what they've done, and basically what sets these guys apart. Why you should be buying off of them instead of a lot of the other companies. Mostly because they're made here in America. Matt, Adam, how you doing?
Doing great, Adam.
Alright, so what kind of gauges do we got here? What do we got going on?
These are all G-Body gauges. We got some here for a Monte Carlo, El Caminos as well, the Grand Prix, the Buick Regal, as well as the Cutlass. All of which are made here, right in East Lake, Ohio, American made, lifetime warranty on every one of our products. Comes with all the sending units needed for everything as well, minus the fuel sending.
So, two questions.
Yes, sir.
What year were these built?
There's a wide range of years, but the 9002 is 78 to 88, Monte Carlos and El Caminos. The 1310 is 78 to 88 Grand Prix. The 1407 is 78 to 88 Cutlasses. And the Regal here is, what is that? 84 to 87.
So, do you guys offer anything for the earlier model of Cutlasses?
Not at this point in time. Yeah.
Okay. So, if, let's say, a guy was building a 78 or 79, let's say an 83.
Okay.
Could you guys specifically build something for them?
We could. There'd be a longer wait time on something such as that.
Okay.
And it would require them sending in their bezel, as well as maybe some pictures of the inside of their dash, just so we make sure nothing protrudes too far into the dash and makes contact with something that we don't have here in-house to test really. But yeah, we can do something like that.
So 100%. They would work hand in hand with your tech department on something like
and
that.
Usually people like that too that are interested in something we don't currently make, but that we know, hey, decent amount of people are looking for this. We'd have no problem with creating something for that customer, and then also working with them hand in hand, having them test stuff for us in exchange for, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Right, yeah. Okay. So one other question I had is, actually two. Now you say they come with all the sensors, right?
Yes, sir.
So your water sensors, your oil pressure sensors, it comes with that to match the staff.
That's correct, yes.
Now you said something about the fuel sensors.
Yes.
The fuel level sensor.
Yes, yes.
Do you guys supply a part number? Help them make sure they have the correct one in the car? What do they do on that?
We don't supply a part number. We're pretty familiar with the guys over at Tanks Inc. though. Okay. They're super helpful with anything when it comes to anything fuel tank or sending unit related. I usually just refer people over to Tanks Inc.
Right. And they're familiar with your gauge.
Yeah, exactly.
Communication systems.
All of our gauges are tailored, however, to match the factory fuel sending. Okay. So all of these should have a 0 to 90 GM sending unit in them from the factory. They also do have dip switches on them as well, to where, say you do have an oddball, Matt, I threw a Stuart Warner universal fuel sending unit in my car, what do I do? Well, you put my fuel dip switches to both down, and that's in the 240 to 33 Stuart Warner position. It works with that. And also, say if somebody has a one-off, or I know Holly for instance, huge when it comes to anything GM anymore. Right. Holly is it. Their universal sending units that they're starting to reproduce are actually a 100 to 0 sending range, which is kind of strange. It's just a newer sending range. None of my dashes have that in it. But say if you have that, and prior to ordering, you call up and say, hey, I need that 100 to 0 put in there. We can program that in there for you.
All right, so that's something you can take care of before.
Exactly. Or even after the fact. I've had
Right.
countless people call in and say, hey, I got this. My fuel gauge isn't working anymore. Well, send her on in. I could put this 100 to 0 in the dash for you. Done.
Right.
Ship it back. Works as if it's factory.
So, which is another thing, guys. Their customer service to me, is almost second to none. I've got stories of guys that live locally and they've had their cars pulled out back here, and the vice president of the company sitting underneath, laying on the ground, trying to figure out what they had going on or what they did wrong, wiring something up.
Yeah.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
You don't see that many places.
I've even had people if you live local and stuff, they don't realize how close we are, and they'll have our gauges in their car. They'll come up and I'll take you on a tour of the place. You can see it's all made right here.
It's
not, it's not a facade. It's all made right here. I've even people have placed orders coming in, and they've lived down the road, because I live local as well, very local. And it's like, hey, your clothes are already, I'll drop it off on my way home. I mean, I've done that twice.
So I mean, very helpful, especially if you're local. But you know, if you have an issue, call them up. It is a company, and they do field a lot of calls. And I will say, if you don't hear back from somebody, call them again, because it's a company, guys. Things happen, people get busy, a message might get missed. Always call back, and they'll get back to you. Are there any special features that you'd like to point out on?
Yeah. Each one of these, I can't cycle through them at the moment, but each one of these do have, each one of them, they all carry the same special features as well as any one of our digital dashes. By cycling through the main setup menu, which is in every instruction manual, it shows you it's basically the one button you would use to calibrate your speedometer. You press and hold that, and it's going to cycle through a bunch of options. It's going to start with 0 to 60 time, quarter-mile times, high-speed recall, tack recall.
So it's almost like a little race pack built in.
Yeah. And then also, on our digital gauges, this red line here that these go to, the visual red line I call it, that's all adjustable. So say, I don't know, say you have an old 350. What are those rev out to? $6 grand, maybe?
Yeah, you don't want to go past 65.
Most of these are set up to like $6 grand or so for the visual red line. Say you swap a Coyote and that thing's revving out to 8,500 now. All you have to do is go in the site setup menu, adjust this, so now your red line, it'll hit that at 8,500. You know, and it's super simple. It takes probably 45 seconds. There's not a long calibration procedure. Basically, turn your key on, press the button about a dozen times, you're done.
All right, so a lot of people who do the LS swap, and even just general enhancements to a car, even to give you the stock engine in, they run MSD, Mallory, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No problem with communication, tag signal?
Nope, not at all. No, not at all. No, we'll always be able to get tag signals. The only, and I'm just being upfront with you, the only issues we ever really have are some vehicles, say we'll set some of these up, not the G-Body specifically, but other dashes, say it's set up for like a 61 Chevy truck. Those didn't have HEI distributors.
No.
So when we designed that, that wasn't in mind. So sometimes, say if you do swap an engine with HEI or something like that, you might notice a little bit of interference in the RPM or the speedometer, which is all easily fixed usually by shielding wires or something like that. That's usually
it's a phone call to you guys, and you'll help walk them through the way.
Exactly.
Those are what you have found to work.
Exactly. That's usually the only, when it comes to aftermarket ignition systems, the only hiccups we run into. It's not getting the signal itself, but sometimes that signal's a little dirty.
Right.
It just takes a little shielding and extra grounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they able to set their odometer?
Yes.
So you can dial your specific odometer in for what your car has.
Exactly. So you pull out your factory instruments. You got a cherry on it. It only had 6,000 miles on it or something like that.
Why are you changing the instruments if you had 6,000 miles?
Well, look, this guy did.
Right.
You can, yes.
We don't know what's wrong with him, Mike. He's changing up. Some people do weird things, guys.
It's super easy. Same menu you went through to get to quarter mile time, eighth mile time. Another option is going to pop up on there called odometer.
Yeah.
Enter in that. You're going to be able to enter your current odometer from the old dash you pulled out. You're on your way.
Okay. Huh.
All of these as well, going to speed and odometer readings and everything like that. All of these obviously have an odometer built into them. Also, all of our dashboards come with the speed sending units we were talking about earlier.
Right.
But also, they all have an optional GPS speed sending. You don't need to order a specific dash for our GPS speed sending units. Our GPS works for every one of our dashboards.
So you had 350 trans in your car and you swapped over to an electronic trans,
Exactly.
you don't have to worry about a communication.
Exactly.
You just switch over to it. Now, let's say the guy still wanted to run the electronic signal from his trans to the dash. Is that capable, or do they have to run?
It is capable. You would have to go to third-party people to get converters for that.
Okay.
But they do make basically like because what's going to be on newer transmissions is like a two-wire speed signal. It's like a sine wave signal,
Right.
Or like a VR signal. They sell VR to Hall effects converters for sub $70, I think.
Right.
And you basically just wire whatever sending units on that transmission into that converter up to my dash. You're good to go.
Okay.
LS swaps.
Right.
4L60s, 4L80s. They all have electronic speed sending
Yeah.
units on them. Those on an LS, the computer itself has a speed signal output. You don't need to use a converter with that.
Okay.
With that, the speed signal output is an analog square wave. That'll go right to the white wire on my dashboard,
Which is in
speed.
your instruction.
Yes. And then you're good to go. All you have to do is calibrate the speed.
Alright, so these dashes here, like obviously a lot of the colors that you have go with it. I mean, accessible, the Monte Carlo ones, do they all come this color and they have to be painted, or do they come in specific colors that you guys make, or what?
They don't come, none of this is with any of our dashes.
Okay, so you just get the cost, you have to retain your...
Correct. You retain the factory bezel, the factory gauge housing. Some of our dashes, you don't need to use the housing itself. You'll just bolt our gauge panel directly to the bezel and then bolt the bezel in. Some of them you need the housing. Our gauges will bolt to that, and then you bolt it together and put it in. But no, yeah, definitely you are required to use your factory gauge bezel.
Okay.
With every one of our dashes.
Now, answer this if you want.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what you guys have in the works, which you release or not. Are you guys going to offer anything in like a digital analog gauge setup?
Like the needle styles like back there?
Exactly.
For G-bodies?
Yes.
Of course. We don't have any of that in the works as of right now. I'll just be honest.
But that
with you.
is in your plan.
But our plan is to always have. We always start with digital. Digital is much easier to create. It's easier to produce, manufacture. We always start with digital. Whatever we've made a digital of, we plan on making an analog version of it.
Okay.
We always plan on making more needles too, because that's it right now.
Yeah.
That's what people want.
Yeah, no.
Is the analog needles.
Yeah.
You know,
The
so
updated movements.
we'd be fools to not try and make everything one of those. Believe me, it's in the works on every single one we got.
Yeah, no, I really like the, we got the packs back here, which guys, eventually we're going to get to every one of these setups back here.
Yeah.
Once a month, I'm going to come down here, we're going to sit down, me and Matt are going to have a cup of coffee or beforehand or whatever. We're going to talk about a gauge pack.
Yeah.
We're going to highlight one of their products. If anybody wants to see a specific one, let me know in the comments. We'll talk to these guys, we'll put something together. and we'll try to make that the next one. You know, if I got 10 guys wanting to see C10 stuff, mid 80s, which they got a slew of stuff in the mid 80s C10, or the 70s, or the early late 67 to 72. If I get a lot of people wanting to see them, of course we're gonna kind of go to where a lot of people want to see it instead of somebody want to see a one-off. But we will get to what everybody wants to see. That will always be our first choice. If there's a question about a previous demonstration or gauge setup that we talked about, it wasn't answered in any of these videos, leave the question. I'll see it. I will make sure to ask it. We'll swing back around to what he showed us. We'll show it again. Yeah. We'll answer that question. Not a problem. It's not like we got to hunt the stuff down. I mean, it's all here.
Yeah.
I don't think if I got any other questions. Oh, so as of right now, I know prices are kind of hard to pin down because day-to-day things change things. So as of, let's call it the 5th of August, 2025, generally what are these gauges running?
Each one of our digital panels, give or take a couple bucks, these are going to be right at it.
This is not an exact price, guys.
Yeah.
Don't hold these guys to this.
It's pretty close to it, though. I mean, it's not far off.
This is an estimate to kind of, hey, look to be in this area.
Yeah.
We're not, well, we're down to the penny. No, we're kind of shooting at the hip.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say these are all. I'd say these are all $500. I mean, give or take 10 or 20 bucks. They're all going to be around that range.
Wow, that is really affordable.
Yeah. No, we're super competitive on price.
Yeah.
Like I said, $500 bucks. You get all the sending units.
Yeah, it's
lifetime warranty. All American made.
Yeah. Yeah, can't beat that.
Yeah.
So, what's your warranty cover?
Warranty covers sending units that have failed.
Okay.
It doesn't cover sending units that were broken on installation or anything like that. It covers sending units that have failed, out LEDs, malfunctions in the gauge panel itself.
Product defects.
Yeah.
Not taking them in the bathtub.
Yeah. Not somebody, letting the smoke out, hooking a 12 volt to a ground or something like that.
Yeah.
But normal if it's something on our end and it has failed on you, or one segment of an LED goes out after a couple of years, send it on in. We'll repair. Yeah. We either repair or replace, basically.
Yeah.
So if it usually, I will say if it's an older board, I'd say over 3 years old, we generally will just replace it altogether.
Just give them an upgrade.
Yeah, because we make revisions all the time.
Right.
We're always growing, we're always expanding, we're always bettering our products. It's not, say if we, find an issue, it's like, I've gotten 15 of these over the past year and a half where this one segment has gone out. We're probably going to relay out that board to prevent it from happening to everybody's off.
Right. So you got a 20-year-old gauge pack. Your gauge pack goes out, you send it in, you're going to be like, here we go, brand new one, up to date.
All that's required to take advantage of the lifetime warranty is a proof of purchase.
Right.
So
don't lose your receipts.
Yeah. Or if you purchase directly through us, that's all on file here.
Right.
So you don't really need it for them. But say if you're getting through Amazon or eBay or Jegs or Summit or something like that, one of our many distributors, just always keep a receipt and you're covered.
I'm going to leave a link below on how to contact these guys so you can buy directly through them.
Yeah.
Every middleman you cut out is $1 you save.
Yeah.
So
it's a day sooner you get it too.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So you guys sell through Jegs. Sell through Summit.
CJ Pony Parts.
CJ Pony Parts, Ford stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
how about Classic Industries and stuff like that? Classic Industries. Amazon. He said Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't sell through Amazon?
Yeah. eBay as well. I mean, there's Turn 5, Speedway Motors.
Everybody.
The list goes on.
So, I'm getting ready to do a project. Well, you guys know the one that we're working on right now. And these guys are helping me out with that one. We're going to do a lot of testing with it. But anyway, one thing I will say, a lot of the wiring manufacturers out there for the hot rod harnesses know these gauges. I just got off the phone with a couple of companies that I was calling around to. Painless knows your wiring. Yeah. That is actually one of the questions they ask you. Are you running aftermarket dash? Yes. Who are you running? Yeah. That's just, you guys ever heard of Intellitronix? I'm like, oh yeah, we got their, yeah, we know what they, these guys already know what they require behind the dash. Yeah. So you'll get unterminated ends so you can make your connections. And the wires are already run there. Old names in the industry like Ron Francis Wiring. They know your stuff.
Yeah. We've been around for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know you
for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are. How long you been around now?
I mean,
there's two reiterations.
There's several. If we go back to like first iteration, that was like the 80s or something. So
yeah, that's what I heard. We're talking 40 years.
This name's been making gauges for a long time.
Right. But yeah, like I said, you got Ron Francis Wiring. You got what's the other big one? American Auto Wire. Yep. All these guys know this equipment, so you can tell them, hey, this is what I'm running, this is what series, and they're going to make sure you get your wiring back behind the dash, so it's one less thing you got to worry about. You don't have to sit there string wiring here and there. Now, that's on a restoration. Yeah. If you are keeping your car factory and just kind of updating the look on the inside, you're going to have to do a little bit of wiring here and there. But like he said, ain't nothing different than hooking up stereos.
No, if you get your vehicle's factory gauge pinout, which Google's a beautiful thing.
Right.
That's basically, people will call me daily on that, and basically I'll just do a quick Google, I'll find something, email it over to them. If you look that up yourself and find out the gauge pinout, it's going to tell you what color your wire is, what pin it is on your connector. You don't have to cut the whole connector off either.
Right.
You could just deep in that wire, hook it up to my wire.
Right. Leave it just hanging there.
Yep.
So it's always sitting there.
Yes.
Yeah. Cutting wires is never a good thing.
Yeah.
Pulling the connection out of the connector always saves it for when you go back.
And one thing too, talking about wiring, I'm the head of tech support here at Intellitronix. One thing I'd like to let everybody know is if you got a 60-year-old vehicle, replace that wire. Don't use that wire.
That's funny.
It's gonna give you a lot of headaches.
So that's funny because I'm getting ready to do the wiring on Campbell. Yeah. So one thing that I'm kind of stressing on that is, yes, my channel's about doing things cheap, saving a buck. One thing you don't skimp on: fuel systems, wiring. Go out and buy some of that wiring overseas. It's aluminized wiring on the inside. Water's going to seep up the connectors because they're not sealed. You're going to get corrosion 10 feet up the line, and you're never going to be able to find it. You're always going to be hunting for something. Not only that, you overload that, goodbye car. So, spend the money on wiring, guys. Don't skimp on the wiring. You don't need to be, you shouldn't be running battery voltage through an 18 gauge wire.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. Yeah. When you get your wiring harness and it's angel hair pasta thin wiring, you got problems. Don't do it. Same thing with a lot of the LS swap harnesses and stuff like that. You'll see a lot of that. You'll see way under gauge wiring. There are a couple companies that are overseas that do some nice wiring, but stick to the big names in the industries on that. Spend the money where you have to spend the money to save your ride. And that comes back to quality products. You can save money.
Yes.
Just got to shop around.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to send something back if it's undersized.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't do it. Yeah. All right. Anything you'd like to add?
No, just one more thing. We were just touching on wire.
Yeah.
So, aftermarket wiring harnesses are expensive. They're expensive for me.
They are.
They're expensive. It makes it a lot easier, but they are expensive. So one product that we've just released that we are selling like crazy is what comes out of the back of one of these circuit boards when you purchase it is between 15 to 20 loose wires. As we spoke about earlier, you run them to the designated areas they need to go to. We now offer a product called our Quick Connect wire harness, where instead of that coming out of the back, you're going to get those 15 to 20 wires that's going to lead to a female plug. We are then going to provide you the male end of that plug, and then on the male end of that plug, there's going to be 7 feet of wire that is pinned out and colored out to exactly what my gauge panel wants. So on those installs, when you're thinking about it, running new wires for my stuff, the only stuff you really need to use off of your factory wiring still would be like turn signal indicators, stuff like
fuel
that.
Gauge.
Well, fuel gauge you'll probably have to extend a little bit longer. But when it comes to all the sending units and everything else going up under the engine bay, that new Quick Connect wire harness we sell, that's all the wire you need.
Right.
So you have new wire now that goes to everything, and those are only $100. So, I mean, if you don't want to rewire your whole truck, but you're afraid to use that old wiring, or your old G-Body, I should say, you're afraid to use that old wiring, get a Quick Connect wire harness. It's only $100 extra, and you're basically going to have all new wiring that's going to that.
I'll just run it through a bulkhead.
Yep.
Or ground in the car wall.
Yep.
Lay it out.
Yes, sir.
Now, question on that.
Yeah.
The ends where, because you do have a length of wire on the end,
Yeah.
are the ends terminated? Do they have the connectors for your gauges on there, or do you still have to connect your gauges there? Do you still have to wire?
You still have to wire. You still have to wire. So like it'll plug into itself, but what's coming out of that 7 feet,
Right.
they are just going to be loose ends.
Okay, so
You're
this
not
is
gonna
just
have
basically an extended pigtail that gets you out from underneath the dash
Yep.
into the engine.
Yep. And then for my sending units and stuff, all you're going to need for my sending units is a couple little eyelid,
Right.
connectors, or our water temp comes with a plug. So
Right.
you just need to basically solder those wires together, plug it in, you're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you guys were offering that.
Yeah.
So when did you start offering that?
Say 2 or 3 months ago.
So
We've had it
it's-
for longer, but we've kind of been pushing it and putting it like right. Say if you order something right off my website, there's a drop down for that now.
Right.
And they've been flying off the shelves ever since we did that.
Oh, good. So that's basically, that's a new product since I've been here the last
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Think it all together. You're getting 7 times 20, actually 8, because you're getting extra feet for $100. I mean, it's worth it in wiring alone.
Yeah.
Right.
So for between $600 and $700, let's say,
Yeah.
between $500 and $700, you're going to get a nice gauge pad.
Yeah.
You're going to get a nicely put together pigtail that goes on the end. Do you have one of those laying around right now?
I do not.
All right. He'll show it to us next time.
Yeah.
So you get a nice little pigtail that comes off the end. You got the customer service. You got the quality of being made right here in each place. How can't you go wrong, guys? All right. Well, we're gonna close this out. Like I said, anybody wants to see anything special, any other questions that you have for him? Well, one, you can even call the company up if you want, or ask me in the comments, and I will make sure that I will address that on the next video, which will be probably 3 or 4 weeks. Plan on doing this once a month. So I think we're going to cut it here. I'm going to shoot a little bit of the other gauges again so you guys can get a nice up close. Get you a nice up close to this setup. And until next time, man. Matt, thanks for working.
No problem.
Guys, remember, as always, you ain't getting done unless you're out in the garage working on it. Kids aren't going to get involved with the cars unless you get them out there with you. So, kids out there in the garage. Take it easy, guys. Alright, like I said, we're gonna do a little bit of B-roll, I guess. We'll show the gauges that they offer. You guys just tell me if you want to know a little bit more about a certain one, and we will. I'll make sure we do it. Okay? We can almost pick the next head than we do. So, 65, 66 Mustang, White Lightning analog. This is 67, 72 White Lightning series Chevy truck. 55, 59 Chevy truck, again, White Lightning series analogs. That's G-Body. I'm sure that's one of the. No, that's Chevy truck. That's one of the White Lightnings. And that looks like 57 Chevy for the White Lightning. So, Mustang, again. Standard digital analog. Which, guys, I really think the digital analog series is really neat. And it's hard to see, and the camera doesn't really show it, but like on this one right here, it's almost holographic. It's really neat. And 67 to 72, again, these are all lined up the same. Chevy truck all the way down to, looks like the 57 Chevy. Or the tries. I really like that one. I think that is just a beautiful gauge setup for 55 to 59 Chevy trucks. That's a classic look on the Chevy truck gauges. To me, I kind of Black Series these ones. I guess it really depends on what's going on. These are their universal gauges, so you can use them to build your own gauge pack. You can order them individually. That's a universal 6 gauge, so good for builds like Metal Art Customs 10 cents and some of the others, or whatever you're just kind of going off script on. 64 to 66 Chevy truck. Like I said, a lot of these you need to retain the use of the original bezels. Some of the will tell you what you guys need to save off of these. 73, 79 Ford truck. Here and there's a couple more universals. Those are full digitals on the bottom. Okay, so that's the difference. That's got your standard red needle. This has got your interchangeable color needles. You can see it changing color as it goes, which I really think that's kind of neat, to be honest with you. Again, more universal gauges. Now, a lot of people ask when they see gauges like this flashing, you know, why are they flashing like that? It's a smooth sweep. They flash like that because that's how the digital light or the LED light kind of transfers with the cameras. So they don't ride down the road like this. There's a Ford Mustang 79 to 86. And then I'd love to show the Impala ones, but I don't know if I'm allowed, and I'm not going to show that. Alright, now I'm going to talk to a young lady over here and see if she'll let me film a little bit of the processes on putting this stuff together. Now, how many is this planning? How many does this usually processors and licenses this usually plant?
Places 276 parts.
Generally, how fast when the heat's not messing with the machine?
Well, this says 222 seconds. Probably less than that. Probably half of that.
Wow, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And this roll right here, that's all the processors and lights and
Yep.
everything else.
All the parts.
Okay. So we'll fix that up, goes back to resets and picks up more. This machine here is where they solder it all back to the board. Alright, that's the one thing I wasn't able to show the last time, guys, because now they got it running. Alright, take it easy.